Well, it took us long enough. That was nice. That's what we expected. That's the Knicks team that we always knew was underneath whatever was going on the past 9 out of 11 games. The Knicks demolished the Nets 120-66. That is a real score, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks win by 54 points over their in-state rivals. Hopefully it's a get-right game. I don't want to jump to too many conclusions because it's only one game against one of the worst teams in the league at home when you're at full strength. But nonetheless, if you were going to write a script about how the Knicks get better or get right, it starts with a 54-point win at home against the Brooklyn Nets. Not much to digest here at all, really, from an X's and O's standpoint. When you win by 54 points, basically everything goes right. So Jalen Brunson comes out. I think he set the tone. They moved the basketball. They were looking for each other. And more importantly, I think the defensive intensity was there. You saw that for the first time in a really long time. And for me personally, that's what makes the difference from this team being a second-round exit to possibly going to the NBA Finals. Now, it's one game. They're going to have to keep up that intensity for the rest of the season into the playoffs, but it's a good start. They show that they are willing to play for each other. They are willing to play for this head coach. There is some dignity inside of this roster, and I always knew there was. I thought they would turn it around. Now, I still believe that there might be a possibility that there has to be a coaching change or maybe a trade with Karl-Anthony Towns, depending how the next few games go. Just because you win one game against the Brooklyn Nets doesn't mean that these things are solved. It doesn't mean that there aren't problems in the locker room, and it doesn't mean that the team is bought in on the head coach. They still have a lot to prove, especially Mike Brown. He still has a lot to prove. Now, I thought that they listened to him earlier in the year. I thought that they were responding to the way he wanted to play the game. Lately, not so much. But, this could just be a valley in the peaks and valleys of a regular NBA season. It happens, right? All teams, Mike Brown said this, all teams go through adversity during the regular season. And maybe this just was the adversity the Knicks had to go through. For me, personally, I only say that Mike Brown might be on the hook for the simple fact that I feel like the Knicks and the organization, they know that their window is open now, and it may shut after this year. This team is on a very tight deadline. This is not a team that is young. This is not a team that has a bright future ahead of itself. I mean, it could be. It's possible. But the way that the roster is constructed now to win an NBA championship in on a year where there's no Jason Tatum, no Tyrese Halliburton, and the East is wide open. I do feel that Leon Rose and company are going to make whatever decisions they have to make in order to make that happen. So it's a nice win against the Nets. It is something that they needed to do, right? You didn't want to see like a 2, 4, 6-point win, close, down the wire against one of the worst teams in the league. You would have taken it, but to win by this much, this emphatically, play the defense that they played, only give up 66 points, regardless against a Nets team that can't really score the basketball without Michael Porter Jr. going one-on-one, it's a win. And not just literally, I mean theoretically, like, okay, I can start believing again. Now, again, it's going to take some time. We're going to have to win a couple games in a row. They go to Philadelphia on Saturday, and to me, that's a huge test. If you can go into Philadelphia and you can beat a Philadelphia 76ers team that maybe has been sliding as of late, but has had your number this year, and who a lot of people think, when healthy, can actually compete for an Eastern Conference Finals berth, then I'm back in. I'm okay. This team, they found themselves again. Everything's all good. There were rumors of a players-only meeting after last loss. Josh Hart said that was greatly exaggerated. I'm going to believe him when he says that, but I do think there has been some sort of conversations on and off the court throughout the past few days about how this team is supposed to step up and play better. I'm sure they're talking amongst themselves. Regardless, whatever they did worked, and hopefully it keeps going. Now, from a coaching standpoint, I don't know if you noticed, but Tyler Kolek, Jordan Clarkson seem to be out of the rotation right now. I mean, it's one game. You never know what it's going to look like from here on out. The rotation has been, just all over the place for the whole season, simply because players have been injured. Jalen's been out. Josh has been out. Mitch doesn't play every game. So the rotation has changed throughout the year. But I do find it very interesting that the two players, Tyler Kolek and Jordan Clarkson, who, to be honest, the Knicks wouldn't have won the NBA Cup without those two's contribution, especially in the NBA Cup final. that they're out of the rotation now. Tyler Kolek was looking like he could be a backup point guard. Jordan Clarkson was signed to be the spark off the bench, the instant offense off the bench, and it seemed like Mike Brown gave him a longer leash than pretty much anybody else. But this game decided to go with the 8-man rotation nonetheless when the game was close. You had Shamet off the bench. You had Mitchell Robinson off the bench. You had Deuce off the bench. I find that very interesting. That's to me, I think that points to maybe Mike Brown cutting some things off, trying new things. Who knows? Yabusele played well, but I think that's more of like we're going to dangle you to see who would want to trade for you. But to me, it seemed more like an 8-man rotation with Kolek and Jordan Clarkson being the odd men out. We knew with Landry Shamet coming back that if he was going to get playing time, that he was going to take the spot of somebody. I figured it would be Kolek, but to see Clarkson and Kolek kind of stay out and not be in that first wave of rotations was kind of shocking to me. Kolek hasn't played much in the past few games anyway, but Clarkson not getting the minutes that he normally gets kind of shocked me. I think he's somebody who the Knicks are going to need, especially in the playoffs, to give them some punch off the bench. We saw Campaign last year in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference first round against the Detroit Pistons. We saw what he did. The first game of the playoffs, Campaign, without him, we don't win that game. And I think the idea is similar here, right? If the Knicks can have somebody off the bench who can come off the bench in a tight game and give you a boost and possibly even win you a game single-handedly, you want that. And the Knicks don't really have that without Jordan Clarkson. Deuce can do it. Deuce can hit the three. Deuce is more of a spot-up shooter. Deuce is more somebody who works within the flow of the offense. Jordan can make things happen on his own. And I think he is important to the team. Now, does that mean that he can't get back in the rotation? I'm not sure what it means. I just know right now Mike Brown has made the decision that, hey, maybe it's best that he's not in the rotation. So that's just something to be on the lookout for. I did read something that he might be on the trading block. I'm not sure how real that is. You just got him, and I think you got him to be a very important piece. It's not like he's performing like Gershon Yabusele, who is 1,000% on the block. Stefan Bondi reported last night that the Knicks are shopping Yabusele to multiple teams, which that's not surprising because unlike Jordan Clarkson, Yabusele hasn't had really any moments this year where he looked like he belonged on the team. Nonetheless, a basketball court, and that's not me trying to be mean. He's somebody who the Knicks pretty much got to be a stretch for, somebody who can shoot the basketball, somebody who can be a part of a small ball lineup. We knew the defensive liability was there, but he's just not shooting the basketball well. He's not fitting in. It's not for a lack of trying. You can see the man's trying. It's just not working out here in New York, and the Knicks have realized that, and they're trying to shop him. Now, what they get in return is up in the air. We're not sure here. A lot of Knicks fans are alluding to the fact that maybe he can go to the Pelicans where he can get more minutes, and in return, the Knicks get Jose Alvarado, but that means we'd probably have to give up more than just Yabusele. I don't think the Pelicans are going to go for a Yabusele for Alvarado straight up. We might have to throw in some second-round picks, maybe Dadier, something along that nature to get someone like a Jose Alvarado, but it seems like the Knicks are going to trade him. I don't think Yabusele is going to be on this team past the deadline. Now, what they get, I'm not really sure. I don't know what his price is. I don't know what other teams are willing to give up, and I don't know if that's going to be somebody we're going to bring back and be in our rotation. Right now, my vote is for Jose Alvarado. I think this team desperately needs point-of-attack defense on the perimeter. 1,000%. They need somebody who can press and guard somebody full court. Someone like an Andrew Nembhard who did that against Jalen Brunson last year. Somebody like the Thunder have like 5 people who can do that. Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace. The Knicks need somebody who can do that full court the whole way, disrupt the offense, and make it an ugly defensive game because that's the type of basketball you're going to see in the playoffs, especially when you get deep. That's how the Pistons play. That's how the Thunder play, right? That's how the Sixers have been playing the Knicks. If you're going to make it far in the NBA playoffs this year, yes, you have to shoot the 3 ball. Yes, you have to move the ball. All things that Mike Brown has instilled into this team. But you're going to have to defend the perimeter way better than the Knicks have this year. We have moments where we look like a really good defensive team. I think they're top 5 in defensive rating after last night's game. But we all know that they have not been defending the perimeter as well as they should have, especially the 3 ball. Getting Jose Alvarado, I don't know how he would fit into the rotation nonetheless with Deuce McBride and Landry Shamet there. That's going to have to be between Mike Brown to figure out, but having him being able to be a pest on defense, guard somebody full court, create havoc, and then hit open threes whenever he's available would be huge for this team. So right now, for me personally, he's the number one target that I hope the Knicks go after with Yabusele. I just don't know what his value is. And, we'll keep a close track on that. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see what the Knicks are shopping around, who they're shopping for, and hopefully it will be somebody who can help out right away or replace Yabusele in the sense where, okay, Yabusele didn't work out as a stretch four. Maybe we get a Jay Huff who can be that. Somebody who is athletic around the rim, who can shoot the three. Something like that. Jock Landale, someone like that. All right, listen, it's a good day to be a Knicks fan so far. I mean, it felt like I couldn't even tell you who we were watching. It felt like the season was ending. I know it's a little dramatic, but I think a lot of Knicks fans out there were watching this team in the past 10, 11 games like, what is going on? I cannot believe that our season, I'm going to say it's ending like this. This isn't the playoffs, but there was a lot of doomsday going on. So it's good to see the Knicks still have what they had inside of them, a 54-point blowout win against the Brooklyn Nets. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about Mike Brown's rotation changes. Let me know if you're buying in that this New York Knicks team can now move forward, and this is the first step moving forward. Let me know who you want the Knicks to get for Gershon Yabusele or for anybody else on the roster. Do you think Clarkson's on the block? Do you think him being out the rotation means that they're willing to trade him? Same with Kolek. The trade deadline's coming up soon. It's approaching rather quickly, so things could be changing pretty quickly. We'll update you on everything here on Knicks Latest. So make sure you subscribe, like the video, drop a comment. I'll see you tomorrow for an episode of Knicks Latest. Peace.